ready to be interviewed, ready for today's activity. We're asking you all to be on your very best behavior. For today, I hope you all have a program. No, you don't? Okay, we will get for you. Today's career quest is for grades 11, 12, and 13. And we are having the organization here today. They're going to be displayed for you for your benefit, for the benefit of you beyond high school. The tertiary institutions are here. Please ask questions, if you may. Ask relevant questions towards the career to which you would want to enter. The format for today, we have the formal session in-house, right here in the Benicia, after which you will have a break, and then you will be able to view the exhibit and have your interview. But you will be so guided by our MC, and our MC, Master of Ceremony this morning, our moderator, is none other than Mr. Douglas, the head of the Performing Arts Department. I'm going to ask you to put your hands together and welcome Mr. Douglas.
Thank you, Mrs. Harris. Good morning, grade 11, 12, and 13. Hey, look here, that's terrible. So let's go again. Good morning, grade 11, 12, and 13. I know what the problem is. You're sitting, you're too comfortable. Yeah. So let me try that one more time. Good morning, grade 11, 12, and 13. Okay. All right, so now we're going to have a short devotion led by Barnabas. All right, so I want everybody to sing. If I hear you singing, you will be seated. If I don't hear you, you will be standing. Good. All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. On the look nice thing. Girls, I'm going to say up. Nice. We know Mr. Douglas say, on to sit down, right? Everybody have breakfast this morning? That's very wonderful. Get up. Let's go. We're going to do some action courses. My head, my shoulder, my knees, my tail. Let's go. Up, 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 up. Up, up, up. Listen to me now. Anybody who not touching them head, them shoulder, them knees, and them toes, them all come up here to show everybody who them touch them head and them toes. See? If I see you doing your head and your shoulder and your toes, you're going to get you sick. See? Let's go. My head, my shoulder, my knees, my toes. My head, my shoulder, my knees, my head, my shoulder, my knees, my toes. Everybody, my shoulder, my
here, so I'm serious. Father Abraham had made his sons, that, and I am one of them, and so are you. So let's just do the right hand, yeah. And then you don't know your right hand, so and so on. So let's just right hand, left hand, Father. I've made it, yeah, I've made it sons that Father Abraham, and I am one of them, and so are you. So let's, everybody, right foot, Father Abraham, and your left foot like this. I've made it, yeah, Abraham, yeah, and I am. So let's just pray. Everybody, right hand, right foot, left foot, Father Abraham, yeah. Everybody should be doing this. Everybody should be doing this. And so, don't play with me. Don't play with me. 1, 2, 3. Left hand, right foot, left foot, hands up, Father Abraham. I made it. Yeah, I made it. So let's say right. Father, yeah, if you're happy and you know it, do what that. Hey, no, listen. If you're happy and you know it, do what that. If you're happy and you know it, do what that. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, do what that. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you want it, poke your friend. If you're happy and you know it, poke your friend. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, poke your friend. If you're happy and you know it, say ox. If you're happy and you know it, say ox. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, say ox. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barnaba. I realize this section has all the vibes. And over on my left, the retirement section. All type of pain, arthritis, alright, but you see, today's career quest, you see, so they're gonna interviews, right? Now, I would want to employ somebody who I believe might die on the work. Don't it? Don't it? Somebody show up for interview and them look like they're not gonna last the day. That's medical expenses for the company. Don't it? No? Okay. They'll tell you, I'll call you. Alright. We'll get in touch. Alright? So, I want you all to read the theme for me today. What's the theme? Hello, some of you future bosses are here today. They can't hear you. Let's go. So let's say everybody gets it now. Let's go after 3. 1, 2, 3.
So say the first part. I can. So say that part again, but meaning. Good. Through what? Good. You remember when you came in grade 7? And your form teacher asked you what you wanted to be? And somebody said something. Doctor, lawyer, meteorologist, all type of ist. You remember that time? And then by grade 10, what you want to be? Servant to assure. Alright, so luckily for you, see how Bridgeport is good for you? They have invited colleges to be here for you to. So give all the colleges a big round of applause. And the universities. So rather than you going there, they have come to you. Give them a big round of applause. Alright, now I'm going to invite all of you to stand, including the retirement home section. And we're going to stand at attention for our national anthem. Eternal Father, bless our land, guard us with thy mighty hand, keep us free from evil paths, be our light through countless hours, through our needless great defender, grant true wisdom from above, justice, truth be ours forever, to make our land we love. Jamaica, 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 land we love. Teach us stir response to duty's call, strengthen us the weak to cherish, give us vision lest we perish, knowledge send us, heavenly Father, grant true wisdom from above. Ours forever, Jamaica land we love. Jamaica, Jamaica, Jamaica land we love. All right, be seated. Today will be an informative day for all of you, so I hope that you will pay keen attention. To bring us welcome, please help me invite our principal, Mrs. B. Harris.
Good morning once again, students, teachers, all. Good morning. I may have to do what Mr. Douglas says if I don't hear as if you had breakfast this morning, then I will let you stand. Good morning again, students. Thank you so very much. Our MC, Mr. Douglas, our guest speaker who is here at the head table, Miss Camille Goldberg, medical doctor. Our invited guests who are here from various organizations. Our teachers,
our organizers, the guidance department, grade supervisors, all our staff members who are here, particularly our grades 11, 12 and 13 students. A special good morning to you. I must tell you, you are looking wonderfully well and you have dressed for the part of an interview that you need that job. I can achieve through vision and goals. I can achieve through purposeful vision. And for you to do that, for you to achieve students, you must set those goals and objectives that you want to do, to work for in life. And working towards it, you must do so rigorously. I hear Mr. Douglas alluded to the fact that many of us dreamt of being a doctor like our guest speaker. And you see she's still young. She's at the Bustamante Children's Hospital, assigned there. Many of you dreamt of being an architect. Many of you dreamt of so many things, but we must have a goal, an aim in life. We must have a pathway in which we are to tread. Yes, part of our goals would have been realized because we are here. And many of us would have have the opportunity to pay for all the subjects that we are sitting at grade 11, at Cape, sixth form. That's part of achieving the goal. And many of us in April, May, June, you will be sitting these exams that you have paid for and have worked towards for 5 years. And guess what? Part of realizing that goal is to ensure that you are achieving all of those exams that you see. So you're going to work very hard. And we know getting there may not be easy, but if we prepare for it well, we will achieve those goals. One of the preparations that we must do is to get those SBAs out and get it done well, on time. Right? And once that is done, you in-person students, you have to work hard. So we're going to be proactive. And the colleges are here and you're going to get your applications, and some of you are going to get the early bird application and possibly get some amount of preference because you would have applied early. But it's going to be dependent on what you do in your exam. So I'm going to appeal to you all. While we're here, while we're given this opportunity to see and to view and to look at and ask questions, that you do so preparing yourselves well, ahead of time, knowing that if I want to go to the University of Technology to do a particular course, and when I hear all of the things that must be done, I will be prepared for it. And again, students, you have prepared well, and I'm sure most of you would have, in a sense, went on the internet, you would have Googled your way around, you would have tried to find out what is it that I want to achieve, what do I need to do, what are the subjects that I must get or must have, what are the additional things that I need to do. And I know that all of us together, when we come here, this is part of our resume. When we write it, that yes, I have participated in our career quest at school and the experiences that you have had. Yes, you will do that. Many of the questions that you are dying to ask some managers, some persons who are in the actual space, the workspace, this is the opportunity for you to ask those questions because the persons are here. So we wanted to utilize fully this opportunity. As per usual at Bridgeport High School, we have a mandate to do excellently well in our mannerism, in our decorum, in being sensitive and caring and understanding. We're going to let that be showcased today. How do you get ready for the work world? I must thank all the organizations that are here being displayed today. Some personnel will be speaking to you briefly. But I must remind you that students, while you are here, some of you are at 18, some of you close to 18, some of you going into adult, you're going into adulthood. There are some things that you must do in order to prepare for the work world. If you don't have it, get it. Some organizations are here today, ensure that you log on. You must get your TRN, and I know the persons from the tax office will be here, or they may be here already. You get your TRN, you need to get your NIS. If you don't have your passport, get it. When you reach 18, start preparing to get your driver's license, because you have to get yourself prepared and ready for any job. If you're becoming a business owner, you need to get yourself well prepared and get this out of the way. And today affords you that opportunity to ensure that you log on, right? And get your visions working for you. So, thank you, students. I know you're going to be doing very well. You're going to benefit very well from today's exercise, and I want to wholeheartedly thank the guidance department who are prepared today for you, and all the other staff members. Thank you so very much, and welcome again everybody, everyone who are here today. Thank you, our guest speaker, who will be speaking with us, and all the organizations that are here. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Bridgeport High School. And what we do here is cultivating a culture of excellence in all we do. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Harris. I hope you're all listening. Oh, you're silent. You're listening? Oh, for a moment there I felt like, you shocked me. Total silence. But the thing about Bridgeport is that we have, and our motto says we have total personalities, right? What's our motto? Total education for what? Good, so we have people who do construction, we have people who do cosmetology, and guess what? We have something for every one of you today. So we have the University of Technology, we have Gore Construction, we have Money Teachers College, National Youth Service, GenCare Skin Farm, University of the Caribbean, Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Institute of Charter Accountant, Vector Technology Institute, BNB University, Jamaica Constabulary Force, Consumer Affairs Commission, University of the West Indies, Artrus NTA, Vocation Training Development Institution, VTDI, St. Joseph Teachers College, Tax Administration, TRN Department, GC Association, St. Catherine's School Transport Association, Jamaica Tertiary Education Commission, GC Foster College, Fire Prevention Department, Joyce Youth Exchange, One Link Donga Town Fashion Craft, Northern Caribbean University, Provo Community College, Michael Teachers University, Edna Manley College, Caribbean Maritime Institute, College of Agriculture, Science and Education, Glad Helpers, and the Victoria Mutual Building Society. Could you give them all a big round of applause, please? Now that's a whole lot of persons to contact just to be here for you. So give them a bigger round of applause. And they have catered to all of your personalities, alright? So, we're going to move on, and at this time we're going to invite Mrs. Palmer to present her address. Give her a big round of applause as she makes her way. You can do better than that. Do I hear a standing coming up? Okay.
Let me add my welcome to all our visitors. Good. And we want to say thanks for to share with you just briefly. And I want all your attention to be right here now. I am the focus. You're not looking to that side where they're sitting up. You'll be able to see them a little bit later. I really want you to hear what I have to say, Parasu and company. Right. I really want you to hear what I have to say because our theme says this morning, I can achieve through. I can achieve through. And of course our visions and our goals are very important. Therefore, your future, Miss Hutchison, your future depends on what you do today. What did I say? Your future depends on what you do. Okay, very good. Your future depends on what you do today. So therefore, in planning your career, you know your values. I'm sure by now you know what your values are. Learn about yourself. That's very important. Identify your skills. What am I very good at? Now we want to encourage you starting today, and I'm sure some of you would have started before, to research the career options. Then you're going to link your studies to that career path which you want to choose. So I want to encourage you to study. Study while others are sleeping. Decide while others are delaying. Prepare while others are daydreaming. Begin while others are procrastinating. Work while others are wishing. Save while others are wasting. Listen while others are talking. Smile while others are frowning, right? Persist while others are quitting, right? It doesn't matter what others are doing. What is important or who is important is you. So it matters what you are doing. Therefore, my brief talk to you will conclude by saying, if you believe you can, probably you can. If you believe you won't, you most assuredly won't. Belief is the ignition switch that gets you off the launch pad. Ask yourself if what you're doing today is getting you closer to where you want to be tomorrow. If it will, then share your sparkle wherever you are. Finally, surround yourself with dreamers and doers, the believers and the thinkers, but most of all, surround yourself with those who see greatness within you even when you don't see it. Believe in yourselves. Just do it. You will achieve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Palmer. Most of you have your programs, right? So, I want you to read with me. You see, as you explore, begin to imagine your own future in school and in a career. Begin to think about how you can capitalize on your talents and aptitudes. Consider too which skills and academic areas you need to strengthen. Perhaps your dream job will come true, but not without a lot of hard work and planning on your part. So, in addition to all of those, you need to be able to read at job level, write clearly, correctly, concisely, demonstrate computer literacy, make correct decisions, demonstrate a strong work ethic, show independence and initiative, have satisfactory attendance, perform math at job level, speak clearly and listen to directions, reason, problem solve, understand the big picture, possess a positive attitude. Listen to that part out with me. Say it for me, please. What do we mean by that? Retirement home. So we go inside the interview and we look pop down, stress, depress everybody, And they need, and they want, you want them to employ you like that? Sure. Okay. Street side of your base waiting on you. Alright? Let's go. Now, we have Mr. Peter Carter who is going to bless the place. He's a big singer. Is he here? Alright, I need all of you to get up on your feet because you're going to have to sing this song. Yeah? You still sitting? Everybody on their feet right now. I'm still seeing something. Alright. So, I'm still seeing some person sitting right there. Stretch, man, stretch. 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 You see our doctor is looking younger than most of you? Stretch. She exercised. Good. So let me see all the hands up in the air now, please. If you're alive and well, put your hand up in the air. Good. All of you. Now, Chronix has a song that most of you know. Yes. So I need to sing it. And it's simple. Alright? It says, likes. I know a lot of you like likes, don't you? Because you think about, you're posting a pic and everybody wants it. So after 3, 1, 2, 3, let's start. And everybody like it. Let's go, 2, 3 for the love, 3 for the love. 3 for the love, 3 for the love. Success don't come overnight. Wait, take up music. Because we need that. Let's do that part again. Success. And success don't. Again. Success. Again. And I can't hear you. Yeah? One more time, let's go. Alright. Thank you. You're big singers, so be seated. Alright, so I bet most of you never pay attention to that part, don't you? Alright, so that's likes. So don't just post a pic for the likes. Alright, do what you do for the love. Alright, at this time we're going to invite your great supervisor, Mrs. Smith Barrett, to address you. Give her a big round of applause as she makes her way, please.
but at least I can speak. So I hope you'll be listening to me. Alright? And success, in fact, does not come overnight. As I look around, I see opportunities outside. You have a day ahead. A day where you can go out there and view the possibilities that exist for you. For some of you, it may look like it's unattainable, unachievable. I'm going to tell you no. And my charge to you today is to defy all the odds. What do I mean by defying the odds? Anybody can tell me? What does it mean to defy the odds? Nobody knows? Or are you too afraid? Come on now, come up here and tell me quickly. Come. Yes, come and tell me what you think defying the odds is. Quickly, come now. Come there, on. You don't, or is it that you don't know? Alright, let me help you along. Alright, it simply means that you're going to accomplish something that would seem to be impossible. And for many of you, you might look at yourself today and say, there's no way I can reach University of the West Indies because I'm not getting good grades. Or my parents don't have the money. But I'm going to tell you, yes you can. Each day you get up, you must tell yourself that you're going to get there. And no matter what challenges that may come your way, tell yourself that you're going to go around them and you're still going to achieve. So don't let money, don't let poverty, don't let anything at all prevent you from achieving your goals. You are going to ensure you look for the opportunities that are there and go out there and get them. Alright, they're there for you. And sometimes all you need to do is have a positive mind. I found this quote last night. I'm not sure who actually made the quote, but I'm going to read it. I liked it, so I'm going to share it with you. It says, choose to win each day. Defy the odds. Embrace challenges. And never let adversity steal your dreams. So no matter what your circumstances, no matter what problems you may face today, tell yourself that come the next 5 years or so, you will be one of the presenters out there. Okay? Go today, take advantage of opportunities that are here for you today, and be successful.
Thank you, Mrs. Barrett. All right, so at this time, we'll invite to introduce our guest speaker, Miss Mayor. Could you give her a big round of applause, please? Are you ready? Okay.
Good morning, everyone. With us today is our kind-hearted and ambitious, magnificent, intelligent, loving, loyal, extraordinary individual. Now, these adjectives are just few to describe our guest speaker today. A graduate of the Immaculate Conception High School, graduating with first-class honors from the Latin American School of Medicine in Santiago de Cuba. Currently a medical officer at the Bustamante Children's Hospital. She enjoys cycling and music as well as outdoor activities. She enjoys meeting people from various countries and learning about new culture. Help me make welcome Dr. Camille Goldberg Anderson.
Good morning, everyone. I must admit that when I was walking up the pathway and I looked towards the Binishel, I was saying, I thought I was going to present to some high school students because these people look like working class citizens. Okay. So, as your moderator was saying, success doesn't come overnight. I'm a testimony to that. Right? When I was in primary school, but I must say as well, thank you to all those who invited me, Mrs. Ford. My father was a guidance counselor here, Mr. Goldburn, Carl Goldburn. Right? When I was in primary school, I think at some point I told my parents I wanted to become a medical doctor. He can't tell me at what age it was, but he said that from then, I never really backed down from wanting to become a medical doctor. So at that time we had common entrance. So I knew that when they moved me from a prep school to a primary school, one, they couldn't afford the prep school money anymore. So then I had to readjust myself to a primary school, meaning that different kind of activity level from children, different way of speaking, different area, everything. So when I was in grade 5, because that's when I did common entrance, I decided I went to Immaculate Conception High School. I walked around on the compound. I had gone to other high schools, but I said, No. I like how Immaculate looks. I like the clean environment. I hear it's a good school. I went to work hard to go to Immaculate Conception High School. So when I was in grade 5, my grandfather died, so that was tragic for me. And even after the funeral, I found a street light and I sat under it and I studied. I was doing my work under the street light while they're having the repast after the funeral. So every moment I got, I just tried to seize, to study, so as I could get my grades over 90% to go to Immaculate. Well, it worked, and I ended up at Immaculate. So while I was there, I had many struggles because I didn't come from a rich family, right? I don't come from people who come from cherry gardens and all those highfalutin places. So when I was there, my math grades were terrible in form 1, like first form and second form. People used to tease me about every possible thing. I didn't know that you could find so many things to tease somebody about. Right? Tease about shoes, about bag, about hair, about smile, everything you could think of. Right? So I had to still go through with all the mockery. When I was in 3rd form, every day there was not one day that passed without them teasing me. I had a leather bag that was tearing apart, the zipper wasn't working, and I had to hold it back together and put it under my arm and walk. That was at Immaculate Conception High. So, you know, every day. They say, oh, look at her. And they used to call me by my full name, Camille Goldberg. I said to myself, well, if they call me by my full name, when they realize I become a professional later on, they'll remember who it was. That is Camille Goldberg. So I just went through. It troubled me, I won't lie, but I just had to go. I couldn't switch classes. I didn't want to switch schools. So in 3rd form, I got a different math teacher. And she told me that if I wanted to do well at math, I had to just practice. Math was just practice. So it's not something where you go to math class and then you go home and that's it. So I took my textbook. If they gave me homework from like exercise A, and they had up to exercise K, I did all of the exercises. And then I aligned myself with people who did well in math. So I went to the people who got 90s in the class and I sat with them. And if I didn't understand something, I just asked them to explain it to me. After a while, I started getting 90s and 100s in math as well as the other science subjects. So it's just really aligning yourself with people who want to be successful as well. Right? Even if you don't see yourself as successful, you get close to those people, you look at what their motivations are, and look at what your motivation is personally to move forward. Okay? So I got 8 subjects at CXC, CSEC level. Right? I got 5 1s and 3 2s. And then I moved on to CAPE. That was another struggle. At the time, I had terrible acne, so that was another point of teasing. So after 5th form, they kind of stopped teasing me because I worked hard to go on the honor roll. So the honor roll at Immaculate, you had to get 80s and above to be on the honor roll. So at graduation, I was able to get up and get a prize for being on the honor roll. And from then, they stopped teasing me about the million things that they used to tease me about. Then it was my face in 6th form. So they started teasing me, avoiding me, laughing at me, all sorts of things. And at that point, my parents weren't working. So I ended up going to stay with somebody who helped me out for lower 6th form. So I stayed by her most of the time. And I walked to school. Right? It was close to Immaculate, walked back home. Right? In upper 6th, my parents couldn't afford to pay the school fee for upper 6th. So the school actually just absorbed that and they really didn't mention it anymore. And they allowed me to do upper 6th. But while I was there at Immaculate, I took advantage of all the free opportunities that I had there. So, for example, free music lessons. They had a concert band. I joined the concert band. I learned to play the clarinet, and all of this was free of cost to me. They gave me an instrument. I used it. We went to festival. I went on the choir. We did music exams. All of that was free of cost, right? So all the different clubs that they had that were free, I joined it. I couldn't afford to do tennis like other people, so I just did the free stuff. So all of those things added to my resume. So when I did a resume, I could say, these are all the activities that I participated in. I made sure that there was environmental clubs, service clubs, musical instruments on my resume. Right, so in sixth form I decided to apply to a college overseas. So I had done SATs as well. I got a score and I applied to a university. They gave me a top scholarship, but the scholarship only covered about half of the tuition. So I still had about $15,000 left to pay. Right, so I just looked at it and said, oh, the Randolph Macon Women's College accepted me. Great, one college I could afford to apply to. But then when I went and looked at the financial aid form, it asked me what are our assets, how many servants you have, how many this, that. I'm saying, I showed it to my parents and they have zero, no savings, nothing. So I couldn't even apply for financial aid because they wouldn't consider me. So I had applied to the University of the West Indies as well. So I got into do pure and applied sciences because I still had in mind that I wanted to do medicine. But I said, okay, if it doesn't work out straight entrance into medicine, I do a first degree at UWI and then I would just proceed to apply to medical school as well. So I went to UWI. My parents could not afford the tuition. So at this time, there were 4 of us as siblings. I'm the first one. And my last sibling was born when I was 19 years old. So when I was at home, I had to be helping, after pausing my studies, helping with the baby when she wakes up at night crying, help to feed her, help to change her, then go back to my studies. So I'd be up like 2 in the morning, and then I have to get up at 5 to go to school. I used to live in Portmore Pines. So I had to get up early and take the coastal bus, jump through, drive a door to get on the bus to go to UWI. So through all of those struggles, first semester that I had at UWI, right, it was 1 week before my final exams that they could actually find the fees for the first semester. Second semester began, I did not get great grades because 1, they couldn't afford to give me a lot of money for lunch, plus bus fare, because bus fare was not cheap from Portmore Pines to go to UWI every day. So I was losing weight. People were asking me, you alright, Camille? I said, yes, I'm okay. Right? I looked at my jeans pants. I realized I had to be tightening my belt tighter than usual. Right? The clothes that I was wearing, there were actually some old clothes. I used to look at people and say, oh gosh, the whole semester passed and she don't even repeat one blouse. And I'm here, like I have 1 week supply of clothes and I just wear the same thing over and over again. Oh gosh, look at my shoes, the shoes leave. These are shoes from 6th form. When I started grade 12, I was wearing them straight to first year at UWI. I was like, oh gosh, what is happening? I don't even want to be here in pure and applied. I want to do medicine. So I can't tell this story without telling you that I have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, and without that relationship, when I felt like my back was against the wall, meaning that my parents had zero money, they weren't working, I had 3 other siblings, so they had 4 children to take care of, right? No car at the time, so it was just us. And I saw myself in pure and applied, getting terrible grades. My parents can't afford to even send me through the first year. And I'm saying, Lord, what is going to happen to me? I decided to trust God and said, Lord, I need a full scholarship to medical school. I don't know where it's coming from, but I wrote down on a piece of paper, a full scholarship to medical school. And I had written down some other things, and every day I got up and I said, Lord, I thank you for my full scholarship to medical school. When it was in April of the first year of UWI that I could not continue any further in school because I couldn't afford to pay for me to do the second set of exams. While I was there, however, things like histology, looking under the microscope, drawing tissues, whatever it was, I kind of absorbed that information, although I couldn't do the exam for it. And I ended up staying home in April, and my friends were calling me. They said, Camille, what happened to you? How come you're not at school? I said, I'm okay, man. Don't worry about me. Just do your exam. I'm alright. At this point in time, I had no clue what was going to happen to me. I had no idea, but every day I got up, Some people said, Mommy said, so what about next year? Maybe we should just see if we can ask like this MP, we can ask this person to see if they can get a scholarship for next year. I said to myself, Lord, what is this woman talking about? I want a scholarship for this year because I don't want to be out of school for long. So I continued at home, basically just helping my parents to take care of my siblings. Until September I decided, Mom said, well, might as well you look for a job. So I went to e-services. I did an interview. I started there, and the first day I started there, I got a call saying I got through with a scholarship to go to Cuba after I made an application. So I was surprised and I was happy, right, that the Lord actually gave me that opportunity to do medicine in Cuba. But the scholarship did not come with a stipend. So therefore I would get, my parents would pay the plane fare, right? They would find food and stuff to send me off with. But when I got to Cuba, right, the communication was terrible. I could not call home. I was in a stranger's house. My parents didn't know where I was. And I could not contact them for about a month after I got to Cuba. So they put me in a school. I was the only Jamaican there. And they were so amazed. Oh my, this Jamaican girl, ooh, Bob Marley and all sorts of food. That's the first thing, asking me if I smoke weed and those kind of things. So in high school, I actually did French up to A-level, right? So I didn't like Spanish at all. I just thought it was, to me, I just always said it was brawling. Because I don't want to learn Spanish because it just sounds like some, people in the market talking. I prefer French, which is more refined and all these things. So I ended up in a Spanish-speaking country. So the first year you have to learn Spanish, and then the other 6 years would be medicine, including internship. So the first year when I got there, I was able to use the French I had learned in school to communicate with some French Africans and Haitians before we actually learned the common language, which was Spanish. So a lot of these things that I took part in at school were actually beneficial to me in university, in a foreign country. So if you have opportunities now, even if it seems like it makes no sense, because I was here in Jamaica studying French in a Caribbean that had English speakers and one neighboring Spanish-speaking country, or a few neighboring Spanish-speaking country, and Haiti as the nearest country that spoke French. I didn't know what the possibilities were, but when I got there, I was able to translate with the French I knew to understand, let people know what the French Africans were saying, and vice versa. So that was a big plus to me. So having learned French, learning Spanish was easy. The Lord helped me that in 3 months I was able to walk on the street and be talking to people in Spanish, traveling in Cuba and talking to them. And I did not have a Spanish dictionary. I did not have a book of Spanish verbs. Somebody in my room had a book called 501 Spanish Verbs. I borrowed it a few days when I came in from classes to write out the irregular verbs on like 2 sheets of paper, back and front. And every day after school, I sat on my bed and I studied them, all the irregular verbs, because I already knew the regular verbs and how they work. And so in no time I was speaking Spanish. I was talking to people. If I did not know what something was, I didn't have a dictionary because my parents could not afford it. So I just went to a Cuban and asked them, how do you say this in Spanish? And they would tell me, and that was my dictionary. The people were my dictionary. So that's why I just went walking around asking people stuff and listening to them. So the way they constructed their phrases, the way they describe things, that is how I learned Spanish, apart from the classroom setting. And I learned Spanish in Spanish. So the first class, you go and they talk to you in Spanish. They introduce themselves in Spanish. They just use pictures and say, this is in Spanish. And you say, okay. Alright, so now I can say I'm a Jamaican. So the first class is, mi nombre es Camille. Soy jamaicana. Soy de Jamaica. Right? And everybody in the class from their various countries would say the same thing about their country and about their nationality until you could speak properly. So it's important to listen to to observe your surroundings. Even in Cuba, I was there, the transportation was poor, so I ended up even jumping up on truck back, all these things to get to places that I wanted to go because there was just no bus. So if I saw a truck going my way, the truck slow down, all of us climb up on the big wheel and hop over, and you stand up in the back of the truck, and when you almost reach your stop, you lick the side of the truck, and you come up. Right? All of those experiences. So when I changed, sounds like you have lots of questions and comments. Anyhow, I'll leave you to ask questions afterwards. So I had to change provinces to actually learn medicine. So when I changed to Santiago, which is a bit closer to Jamaica, because I was in Santa Clara before, right? The hospital was close by, but I just knew that I was going to be in Cuba for 7 years in total, and that if I had stopped in first or second year, I would have come home to nothing. Right? I would have come home with just my C-SEC results and my CAPE results, just looking for a job like everybody else and trying to see what I could pick up. So in my mind, I was saying, okay, 7 years are long, but I just count them down 1 year at a time because I had a goal in mind. Okay, I had to come home. Help my family, help myself. And stopping even at 5th year was not enough. We had to do internship in Cuba and we had to come home and do internship. But even the last year I was there, it was very tiring. And I said, I just can't bother with this anymore. It's been so long. I'm in the 7th year in Cuba and my final exams are coming up. Like, I can't bother, I just want to go home. But the thing is, to go home, you actually have to apply for a visa, permit to leave the country. I have to call Daddy and tell him that I want to come home. And Daddy would not have that. The final year he told me, listen, you're going over there, you're spending 1 whole year over there. You're not coming back for Christmas. So just have that in your mind. Okay, so see you next summer. Just in case I had any thoughts of quitting. Right? When I was in 4th year, there were 5 of us Jamaicans, but I was there in my group of students as the only Jamaican female. And the Haitians there would tease me. So they thought I was too driven. So if I had a class to go to, I wanted to go there early, right? Be on time. I wanted the professors to see me. I wanted them to know that I was there. I wanted to answer questions. If there was anything new, any new procedure, I wanted to see it because I knew I would come home to assist in that with a big difference. So I just wanted to absorb all that I could. They thought that I was too enthusiastic and they were talking their French and they were talking their Creole in the bus to school, in the bus back to school. It was just terrible. And one day I heard them talking about me in French. And when I came off the bus, I said, you know, I heard everything you said. I understand everything you said, but it's okay. And they said, oh, congratulations, you know French. But they just never did it again. They probably did it one away, but never, you know, in my hearing. So all that time I was in Cuba, from the first time I went and I heard about this, what we call Título de Oro, that's first class honors. Right, so I said, you know, I'm coming here and I'm going to graduate with first class honors. And I said, Lord, please help me to get this first class honors. So even when I was going through the different years, and I remember in first year I was in anatomy, and I stayed up late till about 3 in the morning studying for the exam. And when I got there, I was about 5 minutes late, and the teacher closed the door in my face and told me that you're late, you've already failed the exam. So that is how strict they are. You are not to be late, you are not to be absent for classes. So that kind of thing just created some serious work ethic. You know, you're in your class on time, or else the door is locked and you cannot come in. So it's not like here where they say you pay your money and you have to go in your class. No, it does not work there. You have to show up. We had to do PE, we had to run marathon and get a grade, all these things in Cuba. But I just went through it knowing that I wanted to finish. Right? Right, I'm going to get over it. For the final year, I got a grade that wasn't too great. And I was saying, boy, this looks like I'm not going to get this title of the oral. Lord, what is this? Going through so many years and I don't get it, that can't happen. And I went to my final exam and I said, Lord, please. It was a thing where we had to write a couple, like a little booklet in Spanish about a community, and you see people in the communities. And when I handed in my paper to them, the teacher said to me, did you write this? I said yes. I sat up in the library for the entire night just writing. And if I made a mistake, I said, Lord, what should I write here? And then I would cross out, erase, rewrite. And then when I was done, it was perfect Spanish. So even though I had the drive and determination, and when my roommates would be making a whole heap of noise, and I can't sleep, and I can't study, I would just go to sleep early, and then wake up around 2 in the morning when everybody was asleep, and I would just study. And when I felt like I wanted to sleep, I would just get up, take a shower at 5 before everybody got up, sat in my uniform, like without the jacket, and just studied on my bed. So when everybody got up, I was studying, and I was just ready to head through the door. I would try to get to school early so that I could just go through something before I actually went into an evaluation or a class. Right, so when I did my final exam, I did not want to study, but I said I had to, because this was the final part. I couldn't give up after 7 years, and even more years from wanting to become a medical doctor from I was a child. I studied with a classmate, and in the end, I ended up getting the título de oro that I wanted. And in Cuba, how it is that if you don't graduate with first class honors, you go into the auditorium, you see everybody seated like how you are, and they're just calling out your name from the podium before the ceremony has begun, calling out your name. Amanda Johnson, and just walking through the seats and handing you a degree. And then the people who got first class honors now went on the stage, and they announced a grade point average, and they allow a parent to go on the stage with you, and the parent actually hands you your degree. So I said there was no way I was going to sit down there. No way. I couldn't be here in Cuba for 7 years, go through so many things, just sit down and make them just hand me my degree. I had to be on the stage. So I worked hard for that. So that was university. I came home, internship. We had to do internship again. So that was another year here in Jamaica. So while I was in Cuba, every summer I came home, I went to KPH and observe what they were doing, learn how to put in IV accesses, do some things that we wouldn't have learned in Cuba because they have trained personnel for that. So every summer I would be here. Instead of just sitting down watching TV, I would be in the hospital. So I'm on the surgical ward, go to Jubilee, go to Bustamante Hospital, see how things are done. So that when I get back home, I'm just integrated very smoothly into the system here. So that is what happened for the year. Every summer I came home. So when I got home, they couldn't really tell that I was trained in Cuba because I operated like someone who was trained at the university here. And then I had another exam to sit here, which is called the CAMC. So while I was working, so the working schedule was, when I was on general surgery rotation, I would work every day. So that's Sunday straight through Saturday. There was no break. I had to be at work at 7 in the morning, running up and down seeing patients, and I would leave at 7 o'clock in the night, and that was 7 days a week. On public holidays, I was in the hospital seeing patients, admitting patients, no matter what, and in that time, I had to find time to study for this exam. So that is how hectic it was on me. I had very limited sleep on the nights when we were on call. I would get probably 15 minutes sleep, if any sleep at all. Okay, so every 4 nights, I would be up from 7 o'clock in the morning at work, be awake all night, probably get a 5-minute sleep on a settee, get up again, start with patients, and that would go on until 7 o'clock the following evening. So that is how my work schedule was while I was studying for CAMC. But because I knew I didn't want to spend an extra year doing internship, Because if you fail this exam, you have to do another year of internship. I wasn't going to fail, so I determined to study. And I said, Lord, when I was in the exam, I looked at the questions. I said, Lord Jesus, what are these things in front of me? Lord, do help me. I was literally, they said, no talking. So I said, mouth it. I said, Lord, you can't bring me so far to make me fail. Oh God, don't make me fail. Don't embarrass me after I come from Cuba. And I sat down in front of the computer screen. I said, Jesus, what are the answers? And I just went and I checked the things. And at the end of the exam, I just walked out and I went home. Took my bus and went home. I said, Lord, don't embarrass me after I come to Jamaica here. So they had two parts. And the first part, which was the theoretical part, was a bit more difficult than the practical part. So when I finished it, I heard that I got through. And I was like, thank you, Lord, in front of these people, these here in Jamaica. So sometimes we who are trained outside of Jamaica feel that we have a little disadvantage or we're treated a bit differently by the university graduates. And the Lord really did not cause me to be embarrassed in front of the people who thought that, hey, Cuban trained people will not do well or are not as good as, right? So yeah, it was good. So now I'm at Bustamante Hospital. I'm a medical officer. I just want to thank God that through all the hardships that I've gone through, and the hardships never stop, it's just the degree of hardship. And even when you are in your career, you'll still have hardship with persons who are more senior than you in the career. People may try to give you unnecessary work, or if they find that you're a good worker, they just pile on more work. And you look at yourself and you say, well, I mean, if I'm here every day early, I do all the work that you say I'm supposed to do, why are you giving me more work? Say, oh, because you're efficient and you will get it done. So once they know that you will get it done, you'll get good recommendations, you'll get more work, but you'll be ranked very highly among your peers. And you'll find that you get promoted in due time. Okay, I don't know if you have any questions, any comments. You have a question? So what I want to say is that you just need to be self-disciplined. Work hard. You see what is in front of you. There are a lot of things around you that will seek to distract you. Fun where in Cuba? Okay, the fun I had in Cuba, when I just got there, I went to like a 1 and 2 party. But then, knowing that I was raised in a Christian home, nobody had to really tell me that that was not where I should be. So after a while I found that, hey, I can't be doing this. I just don't feel right being in that position. As in, you know, the party vibes, the short skirt and the drinking and the smoking. That's not where I wanted to be. And so the fun I had was actually traveling from province to province in Cuba. And those were mostly with church groups. So we'd have a university church group and we had cell group meetings, and I was cell group leader, and we'd have prayer meetings every Thursday. We'd be praying for our family here in Jamaica. And we saw many things, many answers to our prayers. Even now that we're back home, we're seeing some prayers being answered. So that was the fun that I had. Fun is subjective. So it is relative as well, so you can't be looking at people going to parties and thinking that, hey, they're actually having fun. Sometimes they're just trying to pretend to be what they're not, and pretend to be what other people are trying to be as well. Right? So I didn't go to parties and say waste time and then go back and study. There's one time in Cuba where I decided to stay up and watch some movies on TV. And then I realized when I got back to my room, I had an evaluation the following morning. And I just didn't have enough time, I didn't get to sleep. And from that day, I determined there's no way I'm going to watch TV again and lose sleep and not get a good grade because I watched TV. So I just stopped watching TV unless I was absolutely free. So there was no TV watching. There was just probably a 1 and 2 movies, so things that I could control. For example, if I knew I was taking a study break for 1 hour, I watched a series, an episode for like 1 hour, turn it off, walk outside, come back and study. So that's how I did it. I didn't sit there for 5 hours watching TV and say, let me get up and study. No, it doesn't work that way. You don't just sleep in your bed and get good grades. You actually have to have a plan, and if you have a syllabus, you work through the syllabus, you make sure you cover all the topics that are relevant, and that's how you study. That's how I study. Any other questions? If you want to ask a question, you can just stand or raise your hand, and I'll see you. Any comments? Yes. Okay. So the next step right now, I'm not really sure of the next step. I'm actively praying about what next I should do. So I'm married, so I'm just right now supporting my husband while he specializes, and then I will think about what I'm supposed to do. Speak French? Like, what do you want me to say? Qu'est-ce que tu veux que je parle? Quelque chose comme quoi? Translate? I said, what would you like me to say? He said, something like what? I don't remember enough French to translate this right now. Want me to translate this? Anything else? Any questions from the adults? Any questions from the students? No? So in conclusion, right, success doesn't come overnight. You have to have goals. You have to know how you want to achieve, right, where you want to go. And I would encourage you to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. Okay?
On behalf of the Bridgeport High School family, we all would love to tell you that we appreciate your time spent with us to educate and encourage us on moving forward in life on a successful path. Thanks. Thank you so much, Dr. Anderson.
Did you all enjoy that? It was real, wasn't it? And the struggle was real. Right, but success what? All right. That was very inspirational for everyone. Most of you don't even know what it's like riding in the back of a truck. You are pampered babies. Taxi pick you up and drop you at school. Alright, so are you listening now? So the next segment that we're going to go into, it's very important. Hey, over that side, I want you to listen. Alright, yes. Good. You will be fed, don't worry, you won't die, I promise you. Alright, now, guess what? Our very good friends from GC Foster will be offering massages at the cosmetology. However, it's dependent on good behavior. No, it's free. Alright, now, listen carefully. Our presenters will be coming. Be sure that you ask questions that will benefit you. Please don't ask way out questions. Alright? Good. So, we have VMBS and they are ready, they're about to leave. Could we have a presenter from VM? Good. Could you give him a big round of applause, please?
Members of the head table, morning, excellent presentation. How are we doing? If you're hungry, let me hear you say rrr. The truth is you'll get something to eat soon. Soon. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So, I have a couple of things to share with you real quick. I don't wish to stay too long. But I think it's very important that you understand the importance of all of what is happening. Any math students in here? I'm not a maths grade. Very good. So we have, and Teach, maybe you could clarify this for me. I think we have somewhat of maybe over 200 high schools in Jamaica. Somewhere there? Or, somewhere there, right? And each year we have, let's say an average 50 students. In some cases it's far more. You have an average 50 students leaving from, let's say we'll work with 150. We'll work with 150 high schools, right? So I want somebody to work out the maths for me. 150 high schools and we have 50 students leaving each year. So for that year, what's the total number of students leaving the secondary school system? The number is significant, right? You have the number there? 7,500. Cool. And remember that we have some persons from sixth form, you have other persons who would have been unemployed. Follow me, I'm going somewhere. The question is, do we have that many jobs? So we have a challenge. And then understand that you're not only competing against Jamaicans, right? You're literally competing against the world. So what it means is that you have to be so prepared that the opportunities that come, you are ready to seize those. It's interesting that I'm here doing this presentation today because last year I wrote an article in the Gleaner which focused on the needs of having more career counseling, career sessions, career specialists in schools, really empowering our students to navigate the challenges of the world of work. And to see Bridgeport, you know, having something as this, it's a big step, and I really want to commend the team, the administrators, for getting this off the ground. Now, I promise that I won't stay too long, right? What I really want to do is to provide you with some practical strategies to fast track your career. Whether you're going to university, or you're going to get a job first to get some funds, you may not get all the subjects at once, but how is it that we can navigate the world of work to get out there, to fast track your career? So maybe in a couple of years, you'll be here presenting as well, empowering the other students. You ready for that journey? I'm going to play a little game, nothing too hard. Work with me, work with me. If you hear my voice, clap once. If you hear my voice, clap once. Hear my voice, clap 2 times. Hear my voice, clap 3 times. Hear my voice, clap 1 time. Hear my voice, clap 2 times. Hear my voice, clap no time. So no one knows that listening. So I want to talk about the school to work transition. Did I tell you that I'm in HR? So I didn't tell you that I'm in HR. So I'm one of the group HR officers in Victor Mutual. And can I tell you that we get a lot of resumes? So take for example an entry-level post. It's not surprising for me to see, let's say we have one position and I'm getting over 200 resumes. Got one position and at max I need to shortlist 10 persons for interview. See where we're going? So essentially what I'm saying, you have to find a way to brand yourself so that even before you reach the interview, I'm saying, whoa, I need to meet this person. And that process starts from you being at school, right? It starts from you participating in the extracurricular activities, developing your leadership skills. And the truth is, school right now is just the training ground for the world of work. So in class now you have some students that you don't like, right? You have some, talk to me man, you can be real. Yeah, you have some teachers that you struggle with sometimes. Equally, you have some teachers that you love sometimes, but most of the time. Right? And there are days that you just feel like you can't manage all the stress that comes with the homework, the assignment, the group work. It's the same thing when you go out there in the world of work. You're going to have some bosses that it's very difficult to work with. You're going to have some colleagues that you're struggling to just have a frank conversation with. The question is, how are you going to deal with all of that so as to ensure that at the end of the day, you're doing your job well, you're building your brand, and you're moving from step to step, moving up the ladder. One of the first things that I want to mention to you, and if this is a serious part now, by the show of hands, any of you have done a psychometric assessment or career assessment, anything like that? Alright, so there's basically a survey or a questionnaire that you complete, so you fill it out, and it will tell you some of your interests in terms of what career suits you best. And I've never done anything like that. Alright, so here's the thing, it's an excellent opportunity. The Heart Trust is here, and I believe they offer those services for free. So think about it, you go on a computer for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and having done the assessment, it pretty much tells you what sort of career would be best suited for you. So if you have a person like me that loves to talk and I love to engage and interact with people, right? I don't necessarily want that desk job where I'm just sitting behind a computer because that doesn't necessarily do it for me. Can I give you a real example? I was at the career fair at UWI and we were doing some interviews. And there, I remember this young lady, she did her first degree in history, right? And I said, you know, what you want to do with this? What you want to become? I said, well, you know, I just wanted to go to university and to just do a degree. And so she did that. There was another young lady that did nursing. Having completed first year, she realized that she don't like the blood and the hospital thing. Now, I'm hoping that that will not happen to any of you where you spend 1 year in university, 2 years in university, and then realize that you don't like this area any at all. Because then you'd have wasted time, you'd have wasted a lot of money, and then only to realize that you have no interest in this thing. So what I'm saying, it's very easy. There's one now that you can do online, the Holland's inventory, interest inventory test. So you can write it down and just go on Google, Holland's. You can try personality type tests, interest inventory tests. But the root word is really Holland's. And he was one of those pioneers in terms of career counseling and helping persons to navigate their interests. So we're walking through the process. So the first step is really an assessment of you. What are the things you like, what you don't like, and get a better understanding as to who you are as a person. Right? That's the first step. The next step is now to provide some practical strategies in terms of where you go when you want to know the job vacancies. Because I'm going to talk about the university aspect first, but we know the reality is that there are some of us that will venture into the world of work. So just by the show of hands, or maybe you could probably answer, what are some of the sites that you go on, websites that you go on when you're looking for jobs? Give me the corridor voice. The Gleaner website. Yellow Page, you go on, they're job posting on the Yellow Pages as well. I need to double check that one. Any other sites? I need a job, so that's a Facebook page. I need a job Jamaica. Anywhere else? LinkedIn. So, and that's one of the interesting things. I'm challenging you. You may not have a lot of information on it now, but within the next, set it as one of your goals to create a LinkedIn profile. Can I tell you, I work in HR, and when a resume comes in, or we're looking to hire a candidate, we check out the social media pages, we look at the LinkedIn profile. And sometimes a simple search of the person's name and you see all sorts of pictures come up. We don't necessarily want somebody to damage the brand. So as young people, even with social media now, we have to be very careful because once you put something out there, it's literally, it's stored somewhere in the cloud. Now, you are telling employers that you're serious about work, you're going to get the job done. If you're saying that, then your brand, you have to know, see yourself as a brand, right? Are there any popular brands out there that you know? Give me two. Guess? Alright, Louis Vuitton, Nike. Gucci. Alright, let's move from the consumer now to companies. Are there any popular company brands that Courts? So nobody don't know VM? Nobody don't know Victoria Mutual Building Society? Digicel Flow? the truth is, those are all popular brands that you know about, right? My challenge to you is that you don't have to see yourself as a brand, and that whatever is said about you in the public space, whatever is shared on social media, it's positive stuff, it's uplifting, and one that a company will not want to not hire you because they have that information online. The next thing is the resume. I looked at a couple of resumes the other day, and I kid you not, there was this one person that left off the most critical information on his resume. No, it wasn't his name, his telephone number. Right? Now, if you send me a resume and there's no telephone number, how is it that I'm going to contact you? Remember, I tell you that I'm looking at over 200, you know. Right? So you need to have those basic things. Now I won't go into the details of what you need to have on your resume and those things. I'm going to send you to the lovely Google, where you can look at the different resume designs. One of the important things to do as well is to get a template. Look at the templates and model it. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? Some foundation is already there. And as I seek to wrap up, there's a couple of things that I really want to mention as well. Set clear goals. So when I was your age, sitting in a chair similar to you, I took a sheet of paper because I remember I did some career guidance and counseling, and they told me about goal setting. It's not a joke. Write it down. So you want to go to university in 2 years. You want to work with Victoria Mutual Building Society. You want to own your home by age 30. You want to get married. I don't know the age, but write it down, look at it, and I must tell you that there's something remarkable that happens when you write it down, because then you get to see it, you get to believe it, you get to live it, and then you can put practical strategies in place to deal with it. Right? So when you set a goal that you want to go to university, one of the next things is probably to ensure that you have the qualifications. So if you don't have the qualifications, then you're looking to get the qualification, and then you have to apply. Some things don't just drop in your lap, you know. You have to actually apply. And life is simple. I wrap up with these 2 words. Life is simple. There is the price and there is the promise. But how it's set up in a real way is that you always have to pay the price before you get the promise. I don't know what your promise is. Maybe it is to buy your parents a home. Maybe it is to graduate from university. But in everything you have to pay the price first. Alright? Any questions for me? Clear as mud? I have one question there. When you send your resume, alright, so a question, alright, so let me take this question, given that I'm in HR. The question is, if when you submit an application, if we look at them, and the answer to that is, remember I tell you that we have over 200, so the answer to that is yes, but here's the thing, we don't have a lot of time to go through all the details. So we are at a glance, maximum you're looking at about maybe 10-15 seconds at first glance, and we decide if we shortlist or if we don't shortlist. So what it means is that your resume is really a marketing tool that will want us to contact you. There was another question there. Whatever usually they'll dictate the terms. So if the company says to email your resume by Friday, and can I give you a little trick too? Usually it's sent to an email address. What I do, once it comes out, once the vacancy is there, I send my application right as the vacancy comes out and closer to the end. So anywhere they decide to start from, my resume is up at the top. So the question is if and more experienced person sends a resume versus somebody just young leaving out of school, who you'd select. It really comes down to the interview and what is it that we're looking for. I'll tell you, when I got my job in HR, I had very little HR experience. What I had was the right attitude, and I was determined to make something of myself. I said to them, listen, within the first month, this was what I said to them in the interview, it was a panel interview. I said, if I'm not performing, you don't need to send me home. I'll leave on my own, right? So there was a lot of determination, there was a lot of audacity on my part, and I think once you're hungry and show the right attitude, you'll get ahead. Any other questions? The corridor, give me the corridor, please. Subject area for HR, well, typically you need a first degree, psychology, HR development or HR management. Doesn't matter. And the truth is, a lot of persons know a first degree is really just an entry point in the organization, right? Once you get it, then you really have to grow and get some other certification courses done and under your belt, and you go from there. 'Criticisms, and let me tell you, especially corporate Jamaica, it's not for the thin skin. People are always going to talk, but you just have to keep your head down and get your work done. And that's really what it is. And once you get your work done, it will show. I know time is against me. Really want to thank you for listening, and VMBS, we're really happy to be a part of this initiative. And I hope when you go to whether any one of the universities out there will get some applications from the Bridgeport High as well. Have a good one, guys. Thanks again.
All right, thank you so much, VMBS. At this time, we'll invite a representative from the Institute of Chartered Accountants. Now listen. Here's the deal I'm going to make with you. We have a few presenters. Yes. So just listen. My talk. So I'm going to allow them to just do their brief presentation, and then afterwards you break for lunch, and then you interact with those underneath the tent. Deal? You rather we break for lunch and then bring you back? Alright, after 3 more presenters. 5? Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I'm not hearing you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Donna Thompson. What? WATP. And I'm here from the Institute of Chartered Accountants, ICAJ. Do you know what we do or what we're about? Chartered Accountancy. We are responsible for, when you look at the data on a Sunday and you see financial statements in the data, a chartered accountant has to sign off for these financial statements to be of any worth. If you want a loan or anything like that, a chartered accountant has to sign off on it. If not, the banks and the credit union and those places will not accept it. Is there anybody here who would like to be a chartered accountant? Few hands. Anybody doing accounts now? But nobody wants to be a chartered accountant? Let me say, after the would love to be a chartered accountant, because I'm saying to you, just doing O-level accounts, as the previous presenter said, just being at the entry level won't cut it. You have to be at the top, because even when you're at the top, you notice persons, it's very heavy at the top. A lot of persons are at the top. So can you imagine at the bottom, a lot of fights. So when you go for an interview, it is so competitive that most times you don't even get a call. So it's best to go as far as you can. Understand that? Okay, I'm going to tell you about the institute. The Institute of Chartered Accountants was established in January 1965. So that is long before most people were born, or even thought of. And it was incorporated under the Public Accountancy Act, and it monitors us as accountants. Just as you have the Jamaican bar that monitors the lawyers, the attorneys, we have the Institute of Chartered Accountants that monitors the accountants, the chartered accountants. So if you have a problem with a chartered accountant, you can make a complaint, written complaint, to the Institute of Chartered Accountants. Currently we have about 3,500 students, and the exams are not done here. It's a British exam. It's from England, so you know it's very expensive because the pounds are very strong. And therefore you can't be studying and not studying. You've got to put in your all. It is an exam that when you have done it, persons would say to you, you did that exam. It is, persons look at it in high regard. So being a chartered accountant, you might not, to me I'd say to you, might not be able to eat the whole chicken, but you'll be able to eat a good leg of the chicken. It is somewhere your remuneration will really pay off. Currently we have 12 elected members and a 16-member committee and 12 team members led by an executive director. Who is an accountant? Can you say what an accountant does? Anybody know? What an accountant does? You know, I don't think he doesn't really, he's not the one who really spends the money. He either tells how the money is to be spent and ensure that it was spent correctly. If you have a company, that the money was spent for the company, so we can't just take a company money and just spend it on ourselves. You have to account for it, and that is why they say the accountant, because he has to tell how this money was spent. When you are in the accounting profession, you just don't only sit behind a desk. There are many different avenues that you can choose. After completing, you do a degree, and then after the degree, the institute will do the exams. They call it ACCA, and it means Association of Certified Chartered Accountant, ACCA. So at the end of it, I will know who was listening. When you finish this exam, you may become an accountant, an auditor, a business advisor, corporate finance, tax advisors, forensic accountants, director of finance, chief financial officer, or chief executive officers. These are positions that gives a good remuneration, and it depends on the level that you are at. So you can be a junior or a senior, but which the level of a chartered accountant, it's highly unlikely that you would be a junior. With all of that being said, is there anybody that would like to become a chartered accountant? Why? Tell me one of the reasons why. Are you in accounts now? I need to say that you don't have to do accounts now to become a chartered accountant. to UWI, they decide, you know, I would love to do accounting. Because, let's speak it, I did not do accounts at school. I did not do accounts at O-level in high school. I went to Merle Grove and I did not do accounting. So it's not too late to change your path. As I said to the moderator, I was here to speak on the importance of paying taxes. So I'll give you a brief on paying taxes because I noticed that the tax department is also here. But I'm saying to you, when in leaving high school, don't just only think of going to work with someone. You can do your own business. You can go into something for yourself and become self-employed. When you're self-employed, you don't want a laid back, well, I work with myself. No, you still have to, as you said before, brand yourself. You have to put yourself out, do your best, whatever service you are in, give it your all. My mother normally said, if you're sweeping the street, sweep it well. Anything you are doing, give it your all. So in the tax system, you must become compliant. As a self-employed person, you must be compliant. You must pay your taxes. There are certain taxes that must come up. If you're employed, your employer, is an agent, and he would take these taxes from your pay immediately. So you have gross pay, the tax is taken from your pay, and then you get the net. Like our teacher here, he doesn't know what his gross look like, because it is given to him after the taxes are taken out. Some of the taxes are NIS, as you said, but let me tell you, NIS is not a tax. But because it is taken from your salary, we call it tax. They call it tax, but it is real. It means, anybody know what NIS means? Anybody knows? Am I alone? National Insurance Scheme. You might see your grandmother going to to collect your pension. This is what it is all about. You pay while you're working, and then when you have reached an age, it is now 70, it moves from 65 to 70. When you're now 70, then you get back this money. So it's not really a tax. The next one you're expected to pay is NHT. Anybody knows what that is? Again, that is not a tax. They take it from your salary, or if you're self-employed, you are expected to pay it. You can't say you don't know. You are expected to pay it. So you pay over the NHT, and after every 7 years, it is returned to you. Or if you got a benefit, let's say you got a benefit like a house, you got a mortgage going, then when you pay this NHT, they will put it against your mortgage after every 7 years. The money you get back will go towards your mortgage. Someone told me at a presentation that no, even though you have the mortgage, they can give it back to you. But I would advise that you put it against your mortgage, that in case anything comes up, you are ahead in your payments. And that would be doing your own accounts properly. So you see the same way? Are you seeing it? Okay. In Jamaica, we operate a self-assessed system. So as a self-employed, you are expected to calculate your own taxes and pay it over. And not because you're calculating your own taxes. Don't say, not because you're calculating your own taxes, don't think that I can put in anything, I make 10 and I put in 5. It won't work, because you know 1 and 1 is always 2. And if you're getting 11, the tax department will visit you to find out why 1 and 1 is giving 11 instead of 2. Are you understanding that? You understanding that? So you can't say, I made a sum, but I will do this and I give them that. They can check it out by calculation and see that something is wrong. Let's go to some of the taxes that you would pay. GCT, what is the meaning of that? Alright, as it says, it's a consumption tax. When you buy, you pay. don't pay. But there are some items that you would not pay taxes on. For example, if you're in the business of supplying school bags, school uniforms, you would not pay tax. Your business would not be a taxable one. You call what is exempt. But if you supply shoes or lipstick, hair items for your hair, you would be expected to pay taxes, GCT, if your business is generating an income of 3 million or more. So you become taxable right there. Property tax, you know, you hear your parents, you own property, you must pay taxes for the garbage collection, the street lights, the road, and so on. So it is important to pay taxes. Alright, I'm going to tell you now how taxes is computed. When you have your sales, your expenses goes against it, whatever is called profit, you pay 25% as a company, 25%. However, if it is a company that is under the Financial Act, it would not be 25%, but 33.33%. As a self-employed, 25%. Our teachers, myself, no, I am self-employed. Teachers, the policemen, and so, they have what you would call a threshold. Anybody know what is that? A threshold. You heard before the election they were talking about 1.5 million. That you earn that before you start paying taxes. But you would not earn it first and then start paying. It is allocated over the whole year, so it is divided by 12 if you get monthly pay, or it is divided by 52 if it's a weekly pay. And then anything after that for the week, you start paying taxes. So they will take out NIS, NHT, and this tax is called PAYE. What, do anybody know what the meaning of that? Right, pay as you earn. Have people who are familiar with what I'm saying? Education tax is another one that is paid. Education tax should be paid by everyone, employed and self-employed. If you're employed, you pay 2.25% of your gross after they took out NIS. And if you're self-employed, if you're employed, it's 2.25 after NIS. And your employer pays a portion. They pay 3.5% of your gross. So both persons pay and hand over to the government every month on what they would call a statutory return. So if they take it out, it must be handed over. Education tax should be for running the schools, running the colleges, and so. But you know, we know that it goes in the big consolidated fund. I'm not sure, but this is what benefits the school. These taxes are compulsory. You must be paying tax. You can't say, I did not know. It is not an excuse. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. If you are self-employed, there's something called a TCC. Anybody knows what is that? It's a tax compliance certificate. Get a tax compliance certificate, you don't buy it. You must be compliant with all the taxes you ought to pay, and then automatically you can just turn up to the office and get this TCC. Let's, for example, most large companies, for example, the Sagicors, maybe the VMBS and all of those, if they're going to do business with you, you must show a tax compliance certificate. In other words, this tax compliance certificate is saying to them that you are compliant. If you're importing anything, you must have a tax compliance certificate. If not, you will take it to Jamaica, it sits on the wall, and you'll never get it if you are doing business. Because, in other words, you cannot get a tax compliance certificate, you can't clear it, because you are not tax compliant. So what the customs will do, it would sit there until it is basically auctioned. Because you cannot pay, you cannot clear it. So you must become tax compliant if you are going to import items for production, or even if you are going to buy and sell, you must have a TCC. Even the hidden you see on the downtown carrying things in, they must be compliant. They must be paying taxes. If not, they cannot do it in their own name. And I need to enlighten you a bit. As a chartered accountant, I'm saying to you here, do not allow persons to import anything in your name. Because in the event you do that, later on the department is going to ask you that you must tell them about the sale of it. So that person import it in your name and they're gone, but you will have to pay the taxes. You are responsible for the taxes because it came in your name and it came in what you call your TRN. Hence you must give account for it. I'll tell you what TRN is after this. So I'm going to ask a question and I'd like somebody to answer. After all of that, why do we pay taxes? Can anybody tell me? Right. To develop our country in what ways? To pay our policemen, to pay our teachers. The very teachers before us that stand in front of you every day. That is what some of your parents' tax is being used to do. And you will come up, pay this tax for your children to benefit. So paying taxes, it is important. TRN. Anybody knows what that means? TRN. You can get a TRN now, or you may wait until 18. But if you need to open a bank account, you're going to need a TRN. So your mother would give you a letter, or they would send, I think they don't need a letter anymore. You fill up the form, and they would send their ID to ensure that the signature matches for you to get a TRN. Now the government does not track you by just your name, because more than one person can have the name John Brown. You will have to use your TRN. And just as I said before, if you import anything, your TRN is more important than your name. And therefore, that is what they would use to say, oh, you imported 30 dozen shoes. You can't wear 30 dozen shoes, so what did you do with it? You will have to pay the taxes that is computed on that 30,000. So do not allow anyone to import goods in your name or your TRN. Every person should have their own TRN that is affiliated with their own name, and therefore no one should operate under your information. It is illegal. It is fraud. And then in closing, I'll say to you, all individuals need to know their tax liability. You cannot say, I did not know. It just won't work. No one will ever hear you if you say, I didn't know I had to pay this, I didn't know I had to pay that. It is your duty, once you are self-employed, to ensure that you pay. If you are employed, it is also your duty, places like NIS and NHT, you should turn up to find out if these amounts are being submitted. One way of doing that too is at the end of every year, December or early January, your employer should give you what is called a P24, and that will tell you all that they should have paid over to NIS, NHT, the Income Tax Department. All of that will be stated on a what? On a P24. That is what it is said. So it is your right. You can ask for it. And they should give this to you. And as I said, Jamaica self-assessed system, the onus is on you to calculate, report, and pay your tax liability. I'm just going to give you an incident of that, an example what happened about 3 weeks ago. I went to the court. As a chartered accountant, you can also represent persons in the court, as you can be a tax auditor. So I went to the court, and the lady was taken there for non-payment of her taxes. So the judge asked her when she intended to pay, because the time had passed. The tax department was saying, no, we have to take it to court. So they took her to court. And the judge asked her when she should pay, would pay. She told the judge that her father had just passed 2 days ago. And this is the response of the judge. Oh, I'm sorry to hear of the passing of your father. My condolence. When are you paying the taxes? I'm just saying that to tell you that that is not an excuse. Your father just passed 2 days ago. Your tax liability was there long before. You must pay over your taxes, and it is due the 15th of March of the following year. So January to December, the financial year, and you must pay over by March the following year. After that, interest and penalty. One of the penalty that came in about a year ago is $5,000 per month. So you can't afford to go foul with the law. Are there any questions? No questions? Okay, thanks for having me. And I would really like to see a few of you here to become a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Roy. At this time, we're going to move right into our representative from the Joyce Youth Exchange. And I'm sure you're going to want to hear about this one.
Joyce Youth Exchange. Anybody ever heard of Joyce? Anybody heard of the Youth Exchange program? How many are you going to the university soon? Alright. What Joyce does and all the other youth exchange programs, what we facilitate is for while you're going to school, you can work. But where are you going to work? When we say Joyce Youth Exchange International, where you work? Overseas. So what we facilitate, we give you a primary job. Now, for this one, the work and travel, all the programs that we have, you must be 18 and up, right? If you're going to do the work and travel, and this is the one that makes most of the money. All the university students that is driving, this is where they went while they're at school. So from you enter university the first semester, don't listen to the rumors. From you enter and you're full-time, you can go on the work and travel program. You are given one job by the agency, but where you're sent, you are able to do 2 and 3 jobs. Now the exciting thing about it is that you are paid the same rate as the Americans, but you get more than them. How? When you come home and convert your dollar, you get more. And we have had students who come home after doing 5 barrel and buying the latest gadgets and paying their own school fee. So the first year you have to ask mommy and daddy. After that you do in university, you're full-time and you can't do work and travel, you can do summer camp. Now this is 9 weeks in the United States, same J1 visa, and after your job is finished, you have 30 days to go and look for everybody you want to, and then you come home. If you're not in school, but you're 18 to at least 32, you can still go to summer camp. Still. And that is in the summer just the same. There are camps that will facilitate your parents as well. They're coming this December for those who have registered, but your parents won't be able to get on to this one because I've already closed the registration for summer camp. We take up to 45 for summer camp. Alright, we also have for young ladies between the ages of 18 to 26 and you love children, we have a one-year program in America where you live with a family to take care of their children. Listen to me, you're afforded your own room, you will get food and you're paid. The family will also give you, and you must, because before you go to the embassy, you have to put on your form. They will give you $500 to study something at the community college in the area that you are, and you must study. You will get 2 weeks paid vacation leave, and you go everywhere the family is going. I've had young ladies who have gone, the family going on vacation to France. She's going because the children going and she has to go. Right? It affords you a lot of opportunities 1 year, and after the 1 year you still have 30 days in America to do what you want. Now, we're located at 5 Melmac Avenue, and flyers are going to leave them with the student service in the guidance counselor. We're out there for a few minutes, and then just before you ask for the questions, once you're 18, now young ladies, here's the trick, and I'm glad I got you before it happens. For me to interview and help you to get, and let me tell you, with the au pairs, that is the young ladies, it is once you have done what I've asked you to do, once you go to the embassy, we have never had an au pair that was turned on. You must get that visa. Some au pairs are hired for 2 years, depending on when the family does the Skype interview with you and how they see you. Now, everybody has mentioned already these social media pages that you all have. I implore you as of today, male and female, will take down all of the cartel sandal, take down all of the gun, take down all of the weed smoking, because the very day your application is sent to the embassy, they start to search everything. They have access to everything. They start to search every page that you have. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. They listen to what you say. They listen to when your family tell you, alright, go on Joyce, man, go try to get a visa and run off. They hear that, so they're not going to give it to you. Be careful what you speak on WhatsApp. Be careful what you share. They know that. So for the young ladies, I would say the trick to au pair is that, apart from being 18 to 26, you must not have any children of your own. So as of today, what are we going to do? We're going to abstain, right? Right. We're not talking about any protection, we're talking about abstinence now. So we must not have any children of our own, and all of you who are already attached and engaged, you must not be married. Because they're not going to break up your family. No. So if you want to be an au pair after leaving Bridgeport to earn some money to come back to go to, and I'm going to say UWI because that's where I went, so sorry UTech, but if you want to go to UWI, UTech, or CMI, who was CMU, sorry, who was very graceful in giving me their slot, you can earn this money by being an au pair for a year and come back to Jamaica and pay a school fee, and you don't even have to look at student loan, right? So that is my presentation. We have this opportunity. There are a lot of agencies like us. There's one in Portmore. So I'm not saying come with Joyce, but note, Joyce is around for 33 years. We're the first one to start it, and when everybody drop off, we're going to be the last one standing. Right? Any quick questions? You're going for university in Jamaica? Alright, so that's a good question, work and travel. She's asking if she's doing a university in Jamaica, how she would apply. Now if you plan to study overseas, you cannot go on the work and travel because you're already overseas. So you must have been enrolled in CMU, UWI, UTech, Portmore Community College, any of the community colleges. So long as you're full-time, you're doing an associate, a diploma, or a degree program that lasts more than 2 years, then that's all you need. Because the embassy will not give you the visa if you cannot show. One very important trick to the visa, and this is the only time we get denials at the embassy. The embassy stipulates calculates that your GPA, anybody know what a GPA is? And I'm sure CMU will tell you, it must be 2. And you're going to show this as a 2? Listen to me. We have had students who just walked out of some of the top high school, entered first semester, first year of the university and coming an average of 0.9. And we told them that the embassy would not give them the visa, but they decided to pay their $1,400 to go on the program, and they go to the embassy. And the same thing I told the young man is what the counselor said. He said, you're learning nothing in school, go to summer school and come back next year. So they want you to learn. It's going to be hard work. Some of the jobs are amusement parks. If you can swim, you're with the lifeguard, but that don't mean you're going to save everybody. You just going to stand up if you want to ensure that the kids don't. Some of them are at hotels. So they're very, very good jobs, and you are able to earn, but you must be learning in the same way. Anybody else while I take my leave? Anybody else? Anyone else? Go ahead. Also have one? Okay. Well, if you're going to go on work and travel, it means that you're going to be in university. If you're going to university, then you're going to need subjects. Outside of that, you can go to summer camp. And you can go to summer camp. Once you apply yourself at summer camp, they will always ask for you the following summer. They will always have a job. But that don't mean anybody in here now. Even though I do summer camp and work and travel, rep is not here, I would prefer to go to work and travel. I don't want to sit down there and say, I'm not going to get the subject and go past summer camp. I want you to get your subjects, come to summer camp, go on up here if you want to. And last person, you still go to university because the work is in the summer. It's only in the summer, it's 4 months. University, all your last classes sometimes is in May. And once your last class is today, you can be on the plane tomorrow, and then you're there until September the 1st week, right? And then you go back to school. So all the students, they go every summer. It doesn't matter how much time you go. You can start the first year and you go right up to the, well, UTech is 4 and 5 years, UE is 3 years, and if you do medicine it's 5. So for every year that you're in college, you can go every summer. Right? God bless you guys.
Thank you so much. Now, we have representatives from the Caribbean Maritime University, and they'll be quick, and we only have one more presentation, and then we send you for lunch, okay?
I would like for everyone to stand up. As long as you remain seated, your peers will remain standing. Could you stand up? all be seated. Alright everyone, I am Third Officer Kimani Seymour, and I'm from the Caribbean Maritime University. Today I'm tasked with the job to explain to you the different faculties that we have at the Caribbean Maritime University, the different programs which are under those faculties, and how you can make better for not only yourselves, but your families. I would like for you to pay keen attention to this video. It's about 3 minutes and 42 seconds long. The Caribbean Maritime Institute before. So recently in September we transitioned, or Charter Day, meaning that we got the We met the legal requirements for a university, and we were chartered to become a university. So we are now the Caribbean Maritime University. So at the Caribbean Maritime University, we have several faculties, 5 to be exact. The first one is the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Technology. The second one, which I'm a part of, is the Faculty of Marine and Nautical Studies. The third one is the Faculty of Shipping and Logistics. The fourth one is the Faculty of Advanced Skills and Professional Development. And the fifth one is the Graduate Study Program, but that is after you've acquired your bachelor's in whichever field and you want to do a higher degree. Now, for the persons here who want to become engineers, show of hands, engineers? Only 2, 3? Alright, show of hands for the persons who work well with computers. Persons who do well with any form of technology, any gadgets. Alright, good stuff. Where are you planning to go? I'm listening. I'm listening. You can call the other institution. Alright, you're planning on going to UTech. Fine. I can tell you this. At this moment in time, UTech, UE, they're now behind in their technology. The Caribbean Maritime University has invested so much, along with our partners, to put together a program in robotics, mechatronics, etc. Now, imagine with me, if you will, how a car is assembled along different stages. So you have the welding, and depending on where it's coming from, 3D printing. Everybody has heard of the phenomenon of 3D printing, yes? Well, I can tell you this. The CMU is the first institution in Jamaica that has, for right now, one 3D printer that will be operational soon. Now, what CMI has done is that we look at what the industry wants. So they want persons who are already experienced. So we train you, and we give you practical training, yes? With looking at what the industry wants, we now come back to the beginning to make you ready for the end. We train you in robotics, mechatronics, any form of engineering, drone technology, etc. And that all occurs under the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Technology. Now, the program is, of course, a 4-year program, and subject requirements are a minimum of 5 CNC subjects, math and English, mandatory across all the faculties. And for the engineering, biotechnology, or any other technical or engineering subject. Now, to the Faculty of Marine and Nautical Studies, which I'm a part of, I'm pretty sure most of you have heard of becoming marine engineers or marine pilots or navigators of ships. Anyone? Alright, so under this faculty, you are trained in the engineering aspects of operating the engine on board a ship. Now, the thing for the engineers is that an engine is an engine anywhere. So whether you're on board a vessel or you're in a power plant. Now, for our program, it is structured in a paramilitary way, which means you have 3 aspects to cover. You have the academics, which is about 70%. Then you have the fitness. Now, why do we pay so much attention on your fitness? Is that when you're working on board a ship, you need your upper body strength, you need your leg strength to be able to move things from one place to the next, to be able to open a nut. And I'm not talking about the nuts that are on a car, which are about this small. Some huge nuts and bolts that you have to work with, right? Now, Third thing that we look at is your self-discipline. Why discipline? Discipline is the ability to wake up and do something over and over at a certain standard and trying to improve it. Now, the most important discipline is self-discipline. Now, with these three aspects covered, then you are well on your way to become an operating or fully operating member of the marine sector. The next program that we have under the Faculty of Marine and Nautical Studies is the marine transportation, which is what I studied when I was in school. I studied marine transportation to become a navigator on board ships. Who is a navigator? Anybody? I'm not hearing you. Stand up. We don't deal with shy people, you know. I'm listening, I'm waiting for your answer. Alright, so a navigator is someone who works on board a ship, and he or she is responsible for the safe passage of the vessel from one country to the next across the ocean. So for example, when I'm on board and I'm employed to a company out of Belgium, so I'm not employed by a Jamaican company. However, the Caribbean Maritime University aided in me being marketable to be able to land a job with such a prestigious company. Now, when I'm on board, I have 8 hours of watch-keeping duties per day. So, from 8 in the morning, and it's the same for the engineers, from 8 in the morning to 12 noon, I'm completely responsible for a ship. Imagine with me, a ship being the length of 3 football fields, and I'm the one person standing on that bridge, looking forward and being responsible for everybody else who is on board's life to safely take the ship from one place to the next during that 2 4-hour periods for that day. Stand, sit, depends on what you have to do. Right, so outside of those 8 hours that we stand watch, then you have 2 hours that you have to look at the safety equipments that are on board the ship, right? Now, the fire extinguishers that you should have in your schools, we're the ones on board who are trained to service them, to check them, to ensure that they are ready in the event of any emergency. Now, listen with me. You know meteorologists, right? We have meteorological training also. So we can stand on the bridge wing and look in the sky and tell, okay, it's going to rain, or where the wind is coming from, or where the swell is coming from, etc. If a hurricane is on the horizon, things like these. We are trained as firefighters on board our ships. We are trained as medical officers on board our ships. So, under our faculty, even though your main job title and job description is that of a marine engineer, working in the engine room, making sure that the engine keeps turning, keeps working, or a navigator, ensuring that the ship goes from one port to the next safely, we also absorb the trainings from many different career paths. So, if you want to become a lawyer, after you finish studying here, you can become a maritime lawyer, because you're exposed to different conventions and laws and rules, guiding regulations that govern our sector. So for our program, there are several things that you have to absorb in order to become one amazing professional. The next program that we have, the requirements for the entry into the Faculty of Marine and Nautical Studies is that you need to have a minimum of 5 CXC subjects, Math and English, mandatory across the board, and then chemistry, physics, and one other science subject. Any uproar? All is well? Alright, so the next faculty that we have is the Faculty of Shipping and Logistics. Now, what is logistics? Anybody? No one? Alright. Who here has an iPhone? Who here has a laptop? A tablet? Any form of cell phones? Who here took up a barrel from the wharf anytime this year, last year, anytime at all? Alright. Now, a logistics personnel is someone who ensures that your item that you have selected is shipped from point A to your point B within a timely manner. So that's what the personnel does. But logistics in its purest form is the movement of one product or service from one point to the next in a timely manner. Imagine you being able to, after somebody buys something on Amazon, package it, ensure that it's packaged and shipped for them to, exactly, the person's working at Ship Me. Things like those, right? Have it shipped so that they can get it on time. Under the Faculty of Shipping and Logistics, you have programs such as customs, processes, and immigration. Now, anybody here has traveled? Alright, good. Have you seen, when you get to the airport, you have an immigration officer who stamps something in your passport? When you study customs processes and immigrations at the CMU, you have the opportunity to work in these positions as a customs officer at the wharf, at the airport, etc. You have the opportunity to work as an immigrations officer. Several other positions under these categories. Now, our fourth, of course, the requirements for this program is the same: math, English, and the 3 other subjects which would support your field of study. So if you have accounts, that's lovely. Business, that's also perfect. But any other 3 subjects is acceptable. Now, say that you do not have the requirements for the initial entry into the programs, so the math and English and 3 other required subjects. The Caribbean Maritime University has you in mind, and we have created a faculty for your development. So under that faculty you have the development, so you join that program and you develop yourself, pre-college, pre-university subjects, so that you can matriculate the following year or the following years into one of the other 3 faculties. And of course the 5th one, which is the graduate studies. After you have achieved your bachelor's degree in whichever course of study, you can pursue your master's. Any questions for me? There was a question from the head boy, as well as a prefect. Alright, so everybody knows that the jobs under the maritime sector, and if you don't already know, I'll let you know. The jobs under the maritime sector are high-paying jobs. And I'm talking about some. Alright, quick question. A professional who graduates from the University of the West Indies, who studied accounting or business management, how much would they make at a first job, beginning?
About 120.
Roughly at about, roughly $120,000 per month. Okay. When I graduated from the Caribbean Maritime Institute, then now university, My first job, which is the company that I'm still with, as an apprentice or as an intern, I was making well over 200,000 per month, right? Now I'm an officer. That has it has doubled. So what we study at the Caribbean Maritime Institute is big business. We're taking, I came up from humble beginnings. So we're taking persons from out of a certain situation and putting them in a better one. Now the tuition, of course, because our program is one that requires a lot of practicals and simulator time, contact hours, etc. The tuition varies across the programs, but for the program of marine engineering, at present, the first year tuition is 649,000. Rest assured, gentlefolks, that no student of the Caribbean Maritime University who has gone to SLB has been turned back, because they understand the importance of a maritime individual and they see that this is the future of Jamaica. Jamaica is an island country, completely surrounded by water. The other programs, for example, logistics, it's about 300 and something per year. Engineering, the same. Any other questions? Customs processes and immigrations would be on the shipping and logistics, so it's the same 300. These programs are 4-year programs. Any other questions? If you enter with CAPE subjects, you will be given exemptions, but you can't skip anything. Now, reason, follow with me. If you study accounts here up to CAPE level, and you go to study accounting at the University of West Indies or Technology, you're continuing in something that you have done before, yes? At the CMU, 90% of what for my program, what you are learning is completely new. You don't do navigation in high school. You don't do celestial navigation in high school. You don't do coastal navigation in high school. You don't work with a radar here in high school. You don't work with an ECDIS here in high school. So it's something completely new. You'll get exemptions from, math, English, supporting subject areas. Okay, I'm now being informed by Ms. Sushana Brown that the only way you skip a year is if you already have a degree. So even with a degree, you still have to do 3 years, because it's so specialized. Alright, to become a maritime lawyer, you can, for us it's easier in terms of going through the nautical studies department to move on to being a maritime lawyer, because we do maritime conventions and maritime law. So when you study that, and then you can branch off further directly into maritime law. But logistics, as long as you have a maritime background, so logistics or nautical science, once you have a maritime education already, easy for you to go over into maritime law. Any other questions? There. Alright. In my... For me, when I do a contract, I'm on board a ship for 3 to 4 months per contract. So I live on board the vessel, I eat on board the vessel, I work on board, I sleep on board, I do everything on board the vessel, on board the ship. For that period of time, 3 to 4 months. After that, I come home, and that's my day off. When you're on board, you get your Sundays, but you still have to do a minimum of 8 hours work, but you get Sunday rest. For the moment, all programs are short courses, are supporting courses for persons who are already in the industry, like we do retraining for firefighters, for persons who have completed the marine transportation or the marine engineering, and they have to become now certified in survival craft or how to survive at sea. So those are the short courses that we have. Under the School of Advanced Skills, you do have some other short courses though. But if you have the requirements, 5 CXE subjects, then you would matriculate directly into the program and you choose the short course as you desire. For me, my life is a bit different. I do 3 months on board and then I come back and I lecture, or I'm a training. At this moment I'm operating under the capacity as a training instructor at the CMU. So when I'm home, I'm working at the CMU, and when I go off for 3-4 months on board and I come back, and this is my life. This is, no, it's easy to work with. I don't keep them long. Any other question? Well, application opens for the CMU the 4th of December 2017, and it goes up until June. However, for the persons who are interested in the Faculty of Marine and Nautical Studies, apply early. Reason being, there are several things that you have to get ticked off as you go along. So you have to do a medical examination, and this medical examination basically allows us to know that you are physically fit to endure the training that we have for you, to endure the work that is on board. You have a psychological evaluation to do to ensure that you haven't lost a screw, if I put it that way. And you have an academic entrance examination to do, as well as an interview. So the sooner you apply, the better it is for you to be on that short list of students to be accepted. Any other questions? Any questions from you? Alright, thank you so very much for your attention. If it is that you have further questions, you can log on to www.cmu.edu.com.jm, sorry. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Alright, I know your time, but you've been doing well. And we have one last... Yeah, just hold on, because when we finish, that's it. Alright? So, we're going to invite Mr. Burton from the GC Foster College.
Good morning, everyone. Alright, so we are just checking to see if you remember what I left you with, which is Buenos Dias. Alright, muy bien. Alright, today I'm not speaking to you as your former Spanish teacher, but I'm now speaking to you as a representative of the GC Foster College of Physical Education and Sport. Right? I'll be different from the other presenters in that one, I won't be long. Right? So I'll get you guys out of here very quickly. But very importantly, everybody will come here and they'll market their institutions. But as a former teacher of yours, I'll tell you the best thing to do is keep your options open. Right? So there are a number of booths outside with different colleges and different institutions. So my suggestion is everybody wants to go to UA, UTech, and of course GC Foster, but go and take different pamphlets and learn and do your research about the different ones. Because I'll tell you something, sometimes we make plans in life and it doesn't go according to how we would have mapped it out. Right? My institution basically would have been targeted to persons who practice sports and are interested in becoming one or doing a degree in physical education and sports, and or a diploma in massage therapy or a diploma in coaching. The degree for physical education lasts for 4 years, and you'll have seen a number of teachers from here, which includes Mr. Thomas, Miss Mills, and Miss Wally. So if you're interested, we have a booth over here, and we can address any questions that you might have in terms of our degree and the tuition. So I'll be over here along with the persons from the massage department who are around the Cosmo department. So if you are interested, just feel free to stop by and we'll talk to you. Alright, have a good lunch.
You know, do things in order. Don't embarrass yourself. Don't do that. I'm going to invite all you to stand. Everybody please stand. Now listen carefully. Feel free to partake in the booth outside, ask the questions that you need, collect the pamphlets that you need, and be respectful. Alright, so let's stand at attention for our pledge. Our national pledge, let's go. Before God, enjoy lunch.